I am the Senior Immigration Advisor at GSN Immigration. I'm also registered OISC Level 3. If you're interested, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the bell icon so you can continue to watch our extremely interesting videos about UK visa and immigration advice. My topic today is a complicated one, as always. Something that is called self-sponsorship skilled worker visa. This is not a formal category under the immigration laws. It's just a sort of a name that's been invented, a street name. There is no such thing really. I will tell you what it is. Probably you know about skilled worker visa. Employer in the UK has to have a skilled worker sponsor visa, which is issued by the Home Office. If they have that, they can sponsor a skilled worker to come and work in a skilled job at their firm. They have to issue a thing. It's a virtual document. It's called a certificate of sponsorship. It's all very internety these days, like everything else in UK visa and immigration. They will issue a certificate of sponsorship, and then the potential skilled worker will make a visa application, possibly from inside the UK or perhaps from outside the UK. The certificate of sponsorship has a unique reference number. The prospective employee will quote that in their visa application. If everything goes well, they get their skilled worker visa and they can come and work for that firm in that skilled job. Now, there's lots of other rules. I've tried to make this simple. There are rules about salary, minimum salary. In the next couple of months, every minimum salary for a skilled worker is going to be £38,700. This is a new rule that's coming in. The English language requirements. Very importantly though, this is a route to settlement. After 5 years on a skilled worker visa, you may qualify for settlement. This is the important thing. It's quite a difficult and complex route, but that's the golden thread. It provides the route to settlement. Now, I want to put this into context because it's not the only thing. Some firms, barrister firms, solicitors firms, we know that they have successfully made these self-sponsorship applications, which sounds rather complicated, but it appears that it works. A person, let's say they're outside the UK, they create or own a limited company in the UK. It's very possible to create and own a limited company in the UK. You don't have to be living in the UK. You don't have to be British. You don't have to be a resident in the UK. You don't have any particular visa status. Such an overseas person can create or own or hold a company in the UK. Might sound rather devious, but the company in the UK can apply for the skilled worker sponsor license, and then they can sponsor the owner of the company. Sounds funny, but it actually appears to work. This is what they mean by self-sponsorship. Legally very possible, and as I say, it provides a route to settlement. If everything's successful, it provides a route to settlement. But there are other possibilities. There is a visa called the UK Expansion Worker Visa. It used to be called the Sole Representative Visa. This is the new terminology. If there's a foreign company which has no entity in the UK, the foreign company can send a skilled, experienced managerial type of person to the UK to set up a entity in the UK and hopefully make it a success. However, that person must have been working for 12 months in the overseas company, so that's not always going to be possible in every case, not feasible in every case. Another visa that you may know about, Innovator Founder Visa. A person can just come to the UK, set up a business, and hopefully make it a success. And if they do, things go well. This is a route to settlement. This is something completely different. This is nothing to do with sponsorship. Person just comes to the UK, presents a superb, gets a superb business plan, applies to a private endorsing body, says, I want to set up a business in the UK. Do you like my idea? Private endorsing body will say, well, either they do or they don't. If they do, a person may be able to set up the business, they can make it a success, hopefully. There is a 3-year route to settlement. It's quite difficult, but it's a possibility. It's not the only way, because the object of the exercise, you have a person outside the UK who wants to come to the UK, run a business, do some work, get settlement. I mean, that's what most people want, isn't it? They want settlement in this country. This is the holy grail, what you're applying for. So don't forget this self-sponsorship scheme. It sounds fun and interesting, but there are other ways of coming to the UK. Innovator Founder Visa, as I say, yet another type, like the skilled worker visa, but a bit different. Foreign company in UK has an entity in the UK. They want to send a person, not to set up a company because the company exists, but they want to set up a person to work as a skilled worker in there. But again, for that, the whole structure needs to be set up already. You need to have a company outside the UK. You need to have a company in the UK. Could be more complicated. I would say, also there is no route to settlement on this scheme. There is no route to settlement. So really, let's narrow it down. Routes that don't offer settlement are not so good. That narrows it down somewhat. Innovator Founder Visa, possibly a good option. The 3-year settlement application is quite difficult, but could be a good option. And the self-sponsorship option looks horribly complicated, but we know that it can work. So probably, in most cases, for most people, those are going to be the best 2 options. Now, I'm sorry to make this all so complicated for you, Mr. Shah, but I'm sure you're going to have some searching questions for me.
Yes, it's quite complex matter, isn't it? One question I would like to ask, I do understand that applicants can bring their dependents,
Yes.
like spouse and
Yes.
children.
Yeah, under any route that they can bring partners and children under the age of 18.
Fantastic. What about the adult dependents? Some people do have, adult dependents like their parents or grandparents who live with them, rely on them for their everyday life needs. Could they also make an application?
Mr. Shah, you're always asking me these questions. The answer is not easily. It wouldn't come under the normal immigration rules. They'd have to apply separately as adult dependent relatives. And this is a very, very difficult visa because you have to show that serious health matters. So I'm afraid my best answer to that is not at all easily. This is one of the most difficult visa applications that God has so far created.
Wow. And what about the absence rules? I mean, the self-sponsorship route, for example. I would imagine normal absence rules.
Yes, well, I mean,
apply.
the self-sponsorship rule is part of the skilled worker system, so it will have the same rules, no more than 180 days in any 12-month period.
And would there be any exception to if someone has to work outside the UK and they have to travel because of that work?
Possibly, if it can be well evidenced, possibly.
Great. Another thing would be that if an applicant comes on this visa, I understand they can be a shareholder in the company.
Yes.
Up to even 100%.
Correct, yeah. Or
they,
more.
They will not be the director. Exactly. Would they be able to take dividends from the company as a shareholder?
Yes, there'd be nothing to stop them.
Sure.
But I mean, I think if they take dividends, they will have to register as self-employed as well as being employed.
Which may complicate their immigration status.
Well, it doesn't complicate it too much, really.
Sure.
I mean, some people might prefer to make it simple and take a higher salary and not take dividends. I mean, money's money at the end of the day, isn't it?
True. I think that might be the best option, to just take higher salary to fulfill their needs.
I think anything that makes things more complicated than necessary, you don't necessarily want to, unless you've got some strong overriding reason.
Sure. And someone with adverse immigration history could also apply for this visa?
Look, Mr. Shah, everyone with adverse immigration history may have a problem. This is a working visa. Now, if you know about or look at or understand the immigration rules, people who are applying for working visas, they attract all the punishments and sanctions that exist in the immigration rules. It's not like a family visa. Family visas are relatively liberal. They let you off for this, that and the other. Working visa applications, if there is a punishment or a sanction, for example, previous overstaying, criminality, having been removed previously from the UK, they will get the full punishment or sanction that the law provides and no exceptions for them.
Sure. But would I be correct in assuming people who may have a visit visa refusal because the entry clearance officer thought they're not going to go back, no sort of deception, nothing serious like that, they should be okay?
Yeah, they should be
they?
fine. Only if you get a decision says, we believe that you submitted a non-genuine document, which is the Home Office way of saying something which is fake. Only if you get that, then you might have a big problem. You might attract a 10-year ban on a successful application. But it must obtain those. It must contain those words like non-genuine or deception. If it just says you didn't prove something sufficiently, that's not the same thing at all.
Sure. And if one does come on this visa category, and they perhaps find a better work opportunity inside the UK, can they switch to a different sponsor?
Yeah, I guess so. They can switch to a different sponsor and a different job. Yes, like another skilled worker.
Brilliant. Another question I would like to add into that, some applicants have dependents, and should their dependents be switching the visa along with the main applicant, or they can remain on the old visa and switch at a later date?
No, I think they should apply to switch within a good time.
Perfect. Brilliant. Thank you so much for today's
My
useful
pleasure.
vlog.
I hope I've been helpful.
Fantastic. You've been very helpful.
I'll try my best.
Exactly. And we see you in the next one.